Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Pooch_studio, and today we are here with another video. This is the video that you guys have been asking me for the longest time, as in like, hey Neg or hey Pooch, can you make a video based on the Canon 80D, how you set it up, how you shoot with it, and all this type of extra stuff. Guess what? Today is the day that we're going to be diving deep into all of the specs, everything that you guys need to know about the Canon 80D. Guys, if you guys get this camera, you guys might get this camera without a lens, okay? So if you guys are at home and you guys are sitting down in a chair, the camera's to you like this, correct? This is the simplest way that I know that I can show you guys how I go about shooting and setting up the camera. So if you guys see up top, it's gonna have different stuff as in like manual mode or AFF or aperture port. The one that you need to focus on most is the M. That's going to be manual mode. Once you put your camera into manual mode, you're going to turn your camera on, put your camera to manual mode. And one thing about your camera that you guys don't understand that it can do, you also have a flip out LCD screen, right? So that means that you can flip your screen, you can vlog with it. So, you know, you can vlog, do stuff with it. So it's a lot of perks when you buy this camera. That's why I always recommend this camera, because it's a flip out LCD screen and it's the best buck for your money. So you're not spending $2,000 on the latest camera, because again, if you're that person that's into chasing down, you know, the hype and stuff, and you're worried about what people's going to think of the camera that you have, then I mean, you can go buy a Canon R5 or whatever you want to call it. But today we're going to focus on the Canon 80D. Very important. So all right, bam, camera's on, you're in manual mode, correct? So everything is right. So now you're like, man, I don't really understand how to go about this camera. That's perfectly fine. So if you're at home, you're gonna press this Q button, right? This is the Q button that you're gonna press. You're gonna press this. It's gonna bring up all these settings that you guys can see. Once you bring up all these settings, you're gonna go to your AF mode or tracking. I usually go to tracking if I'm doing like a sit down talk and I'm talking, but if I'm just outside is doing stuff, you know, I'll put it in flex shooting. So that's AF mode. Then I'll go down to where it says set a frame rate. So your frame rate, you have three frame rate that come with the Canon 80D. I only use two of them. That is the 23.976, and I also use the 59 point something I used the 59.94. That's equivalent to like 60 frames per second, but because I don't know why they don't put 60 on here, but this is what we have to do. So the best way I can simplify how this 20 frame and 60 frame is completely two different things. So if your camera is in 23.976, right, so bam, you go to your frame rate, you go to 23.98, right, you click that, and then say your shutter speed should be on the left. Your ISO, you should see this at ISO, and the one that's in the middle is going to be your aperture. That's going to give you more light, and also the bokeh in the back where you can see those type of stuff, how I'm separated from the background. So when you're in 23.976, your shutter speed is supposed to be equivalent to 50, because 24 and 24 is 48. The closest thing to 48 is 50. You guys are with me so far? You guys sure? All right, once that is at 50, then your aperture come in place where, all right, cool, do I need to put more light in? Because on this lens, this aperture is it's fixed at 4. So it doesn't allow a lot of light in, but it's a very good camera. It got image stabilization, and I can shoot outside in broad daylight or like inside like this. But if it's like, you know, it's dark outside, I would not recommend this lens. I would recommend a lens that has a lower aperture. And also, if you do have this lens, you can also bring a light outside where you can kind of just set your light up, and you know, you will bring more lighting into the scene, so you won't be struggling. All right, sorry guys, let's get back on topic. Second frame rate is going to be 60 frame rate, right? So when you go to 60, 60, you press 60, your shutter speed is still going to be at 60, right? Because of that, that's what you left it at before. You don't want to leave it there because it's not going to give you what you're looking for, how you want to get your slow motion footage. You got to go back again and change your shutter speed to 125. When you change your shutter speed to 125, that's going to be the correct fix. So when you do your slow motion, you do bring it back into your computer and edit it. You can convert it from 60 frames per second to 23.976. Everything I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be leaving everything right here so you guys can see. Sorry, I had to look up on my monitor to make sure what side I was pointing on, but I'm going to be leaving everything right here so you guys can see. So 60 frames per second, shutter speed is supposed to be 125, 23 frames per second, shutter speed is supposed to be 50. Once you understand the basic of 23 is equivalent to 50 and 60 is equivalent to 120, you will definitely understand a little bit more about the Canon 80D. I promise you that. Once you understand those measures and you I bet my camera setup, now we're gonna move over to like your white balance. I usually shoot in the K and I put it at 5040, and I shoot into a cine style where I've told you guys I've baked this LUT into my camera. I wouldn't say it's a LUT, but it's a preset. So it's like a preset. I'm gonna leave the preset down below as well, to like I told you guys. So it's baked into my camera. So I shoot on a flat profile. But if you guys don't have that, you guys don't have a computer, if you guys come across this video, then you guys can shoot in the neutral profile. The neutral profile is the one where it said N is going to say neutral, but when you go in there, you're going to adjust everything else and bring it all the way down to the right to where it's not contrasty. Because when you get it, it's going to be in the middle. Bring it all the way down to the left. If you're sitting on my side, you can bring it all the way down to the left. Now that you have understand how to set up the camera, you understand the shutter speed, you understand your aperture, you understand your ISO. Your ISO is just the light that you're letting, like the sensitivity. So say for an example, I'm pointing the camera right here at you, right? And then I turn the camera to the left, but over to right here is dark. That means that I have to change my ISO or I have to change my aperture. You're not changing your shutter speed because your shutter speed is going to stay the same. Again, if you're outside and you're outside and you hit into a situation where your ISO is at 100 and your shutter speed is at 4.0 or 1.0, and you got to adjust to make sure like everything is right. This is what you would use. So this is what you would use. You use a ND filter and you just screw it onto your lens. Screw it onto your lens, and you guys can see it's gonna act like a sunglasses. So it's gonna block out majority of the sun. So you can kind of adjust to where you don't have to affect your ISO, you don't have to touch your aperture, and your shutter speed still remain the same. So you're getting the best out of your camera. So also you got to invest into an ND filter if you're going to be shooting outside. If you're going to be shooting inside, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're going outside to go shoot anything, I would definitely recommend this. This video is not sponsored by this brand at all. I'm just letting you guys know, if you guys are going to go outside to go shoot any type of project and it's bright outside, you're going to need an ND filter. If you're in a shade, I don't know, but me personally, if it's daytime, ND filter is on. Once 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock hit and everything is going low, ND filter off. Don't need it anymore, or I will adjust it and then bring on my ISO. And on top of that, but the more it gets darker, I take it off, bam. If you guys understand that concept, then you guys are good. It's not much that I will tell you when it comes to setting up the camera. Those are the basic that I can tell you. You always gotta, every time you move a location, you always gotta adjust your ISO, your aperture. Do not touch your shutter speed. You could touch your shutter speed if you're trying to go for a certain effect, but I'm pretty sure you guys are not going for effect. You guys are looking for slow motion, cinematic looking like type footage. So also, if you guys understand this video, I'm going to be making a next video on how to get the best of handheld shot. If you don't have a gimbal, which is one of these, not sponsor, this is the Weeble. This is the Zion Weeble, one of my favorite gimbal. If you don't have one of these, don't worry, I'll be making the video on you know, 4 to 5 techniques on how to get slow motion without a gimbal. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a like. And also, if I missed anything that I didn't go over, please leave it down in the comments so I can get to you. If you're out there and you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys. I'm kind of setting up this light right now.